Greetings in the divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First, King Alpha, I Divine Mother Empress Menin, and I the children of Jah Rastafari, representing for the Ankh Nation family. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be accepted in thy sight, O Jah. Greetings, ones and ones. Once again, give thanks a lending ear so I can articulate Rastafari. Now, this word sound, my most recent sounds, I reach in the Bible, and I highlight certain things about that which was given to us through the Bible. And we are talking about the biblical characters. And there's a set of people in the Bible from day one. When you start reading the Bible, it starts to tell us how special they are. But anyway, if you read the Bible through the lens of you're going to eat up everything what them tell you and accept it as is the word of God. I can't how them and present God to you. But nonetheless, we have to always lay the foundation because Rastafari is a sovereign school of thought. And it's all about the knowing. Rastafari is here to articulate and show the viability of who you are through the lens of Rastafari. This is I and I purpose upon this space here. And we always use a historical observation, even using them Bible or books in general, information, gathering information, and intuitive knowledge. That's the kind of knowledge when I come from books. All right, it's more from a spiritual realm. Nonetheless, I and I highlight these people we call the Hebrew Israelites, and I show you point out and show you say from day one, from these people encounter I, it's all about domination. And I equate them and I even label them as proto-Vikings. Why am I call them proto-Vikings? It's because them come on boats. In the Bible, them call it the ark. But nonetheless, it's a boat. And once them come for conquer. Just like how the Vikings them did. CMO Noah. And I identify Noah as people for Noah's not representing not. Or collectively, me will call them the Nod-Thern aggressive, recessive people them. Sometimes I will call them NAP, Northern aggressive people. Now, these people, as in and when we use to come to these, to highlighting these is the indicators within them books. And we already identify them start out with a flood, we clean everything. Just like how when they brought the diaspora over here, them wipe us of everything. Through them indoctrination and them education. Because that's what them educations are about, to indoctrinate you into their school of thought or becoming them. And most of us not realizing that we have become them. Now, take it one step at a time and show you. Like the previous video, I mentioned Noah. And the first thing when Noah do, when him come off him boat, him plant a vineyard. The first and foremost, the boat, because it's important, the geographic land space, so identify the geographic land space where the boat land. And them say the boat land on Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat is present there where them identify as Turkey, ancient Anatolia, Turkey, Iran, Armenia, in the Georgian area there so. And them call that the Caucasus region. Now, the Caucasus region is the area where it's proven that historically that these what them called the evolution of white people or the genesis of white people. Because this is what this book I represent, the genesis and them infiltration and slow evolutionary progress within black spaces, ultimately endgame is to conquer. I'm going to start out, I'm going to show you, say, Noah, the story them give about Noah, are that in a Genesis 1, 9, 8, Genesis 8 or 9, there about, but them give you the story about Noah, come off of the ark, plant him vineyard. Now, it's interesting to note, say, the first thing him do plant a vineyard, him get drink, him get drunk. And when you come from out of the Nod-Thern region, alcohol is a part of the thing that will keep them, heat up them body, keep them hype. So it's interesting enough that the first thing Noah him do, implant a vineyard. Him get drunk and him son go in and see him nakedness. And him two brother them, Shem and Japheth, when go tell them cover up them father. And the father wake up and declares him know what do. Him no curse him curse Canaan. Now, what is the significance? When you go in them book further on, in a Genesis 10 descendants, in a Genesis 10 you find that them get break down the descendants of Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Now, identify Ham, and him have the Ham children is Canaan, Mitzrayim, Cush, and Put. Alright? So all of this now representing when historically these are black spaces. The first thing Noah him do, him curse, like me say, him curse a man curse Canaan to be a slave. I mean already identify how the concept of slavery come in if this supposed to be a nucleus family with Noah and his wife as the grandparents and Shem, Ham, and Japheth with their children. And I identify against, if you note, there was no mention of any children until the curse. But I identify Canaan as them curse Canaan. Now, that is just mass. I'm sure you say, using indicators, because the Bible is not necessarily a chronological, historical, but there are information in there if you look beyond the story them want you accept. And this is why I point out now. And I show you the genesis of these northern, aggressive, recessive people in our black spaces, and them enter through the Caucasus region. In the Bible, them identify it as Ararat. Once them identify Canaan, I tell you, them identify Canaan for conquest because indication in them Bible, I think about Genesis 11, where them start telling about Nimrod, the son of Cush, Africa, established Mesopotamia, Babylon, the city of Babel, and all these places, what them call Mesopotamia, Chaldea, present day Iraq, southern Iraq. Now, over that side, you have an Asian space, what them call the Sumer, the Sumerians, and what you call Mount Ararat today, are Iran, Turkey, and them say in the biblical, you hear them talk about the Hittites, them. These are some ancient northern people, historically. And you come back now and you hear about the Elamites. In the Bible, you hear about them call these different places. The Elamites, them, I speculate that them are some of the most ancient indigenous or Afro-Asiatic people them. In Iran, when you hear them talk about further and you hear them talk about the Persians, the Assyrians, all of these places are currently what they call Iran. So back to Noah now. So when some identify Nimrod as a mighty hunter, indicate to I and I say, even Mesopotamia was too strong, controlled by the blacks. Too strong for them at the time. But Canaan is the middle ground, what them call the Middle East. Today is the middle ground what them have to go through before them get to Africa. Because the Africans them too strong for them at the time. So them target Canaan for conquest. Now, this is how the conquest played, the slow process of the conquest now. All these biblical characters are, let's just say, a generation to generations who facilitate the conquering of Canaan. And the first thing them do, them tell about a brother named Abraham who left Aran, or come from Ur the Chaldees, which is same Mesopotamia when I tell you about Iraq, and them venture out and come in a Canaan. And once them come in a Canaan, the people them in the black spaces identify them as Hebrew. And them say Hebrew mean ones who cross over. The scholars them would say out of the Euphrates and Tigris region. But I look upon it. And this is what I say. Them cross over from the Caucasus mountain and come down in the black spaces through the mountains. And them take them time. Trickle down. And at different groups of them. But we're going to go work with the Bible and draw historical correlation. Now, the Bible tell you about Abraham coming to Canaan. Him God promised him Canaan for him and him generations them. And while in a Canaan, a famine come in and him sleeping and him going to Egypt with deception and ultimately gain wealth. Him and Sarah, when I identified this as pimp activity, proto-pimping. So Abraham is the father of pimping and Sarah prostitution, because them gain. Once a man put up him wife for money, is pimping and prostitution, and with our consent, because it went on, that's in Genesis 12, about 10. Then it went on, and I'm sure you about in a Genesis, I think about Genesis 20 again, or 21. Them use the same brother and sister scam pimping pan the Pharaoh. And it identifies that the Pharaoh give them Agar. Historically, no Pharaoh go give up the African woman to no foreigners or no outsiders, because the woman is valuable to I and I as Africans back then, in an ancient time, before these Nod-Thern aggressive people that come and destroy and change the whole geographical dynamics of where we come to identify as Egypt today. But these people are work off of the Mayatic principle. Rasta that call it equal rights and justice. Them call it truth, balance, and justice. The Mayatic principle. And this is played out how the Pharaoh deal with the lie when them discover the lie. Abraham. So now, this is just a storyline where them want to give, but historically, when I identify how Abraham moved, he moved, he was a nomad, he moved like a mercenary, because it indicates in the Bible wherein when them capture Lot, him come in with them 318 warriors, tough up the thing, conquer the three kings them, and here comes this is the introduction of Melchizedek, the high priest king of Salem. And him now, after them mash up the three kings them, defeat them, the spoil now for share up, and Abraham declared to them, say, him no want nothing Them can't give him swords of them, but them it's a indicates that him declares that them can't say them give Abraham nothing. So him establish him independence and him strength in the land of Canaan. Because like me say, after him deceived the Pharaoh give him wealth, Agar, and them run and they run them out of Egypt. So them end up back in a Canaan. And I saw Melchizedek come into place. And now him in the land of Canaan. Now when him start doing him in a Canaan, him start lay a base of operation for them conquest. So this is what him do now. Him start prepare him family and train him family how him want them operate. And hence him declare. Say him don't want them to mix with the Canaanites. Why him not want them mix with the Canaanites? Because in the indicator when him and Sarah go in Egypt, them him identify as fair and beautiful. Fear is another word for white. So it indicates them white. So how you preserve whiteness in a black space, interbreeding. And this how them survive in a black spaces. Them interbreed amongst themselves. As you see it carry over from Abraham, Isaac, I'm sent back Aaron to him uncle. Forget, no, not him uncle, him brother at the time. Forget a wife Isaac, which is Rebecca. Now, I'm not gonna go too far off. Make we stick. Me I show you how Abraham. So once him lay him base of operation, him get land or him dig well and him a make deal with the Hittites them. Phicol and I remember the other Phicol are the general. Abimelech. Him a make deal with Abimelech about land and water rights when him dig well. So him take him time now and lay roots. And there was other time in the said Genesis story there where him want a cave for a burial site. And I think him have a dealings with a brother named Bury the Hittite. So again, the Hittites, you have to recognize the Hittites is one of them nomadic groups there. Where them we call it all the Semitic groups. That's the name of them I want to tell you. But is another one of the Nod-Thern aggressive, Asian Nod-Thern aggressive recessive people. Where we can identify was strung up in what we call the Middle East, the Near East. And those are different groups, the Orions, the Gutians, the Arcadians. These are Semitic, Northern Semitic people. And it will show you historically and in the Bible, them identify things, but it's not chronological. But once you're historically grounded and you're into like I and I is into seeking information. And when I and I seek it, I and I recognize certain patterns, and these are the patterns I and I show you, what them represent in this book here. But them get in a biblical, godly form. I indoctrinate you into believing this is the word of God and God sanction these people becomes a special people and our whole the earth are gonna get repopulated from them. So them indoctrinated away yeah. You can't read it for yourself, and if you read it for yourself, you don't know. Because them already wipe your slate king from the diabolical enterprise called the transatlantic slave trade. So when you come over here, everything that you know, I would then beat into you and then force you to accept. But I and I as the resistors, we are resist from the continent on the ship and in the diaspora. I and I know better. And this is why I and I articulate Rastafari and I show you the question and I show you the discrepancies and the fallacy in them story. Like me show you say, why this is a nucleus family? Why a grandfather curse him grandson? That story then don't make no sense. But it makes sense when they recognize that them target Canaan for the conquest. So Abraham him now, the mission of conquest, slow progress, him go through and a spread in a Canaan. And now rules and regulations to govern feed people them. So him decide on circumcision, because a whole heap of them in a different group again, but the one when I call the Hebrew, historically, you're not gonna find them. But you can there are inferences and different timeline where people like them said the Hebrew name potentially come from one of Sheila's son Eber out of the bloodline of Shem. So them potentially that's where the term Hebrew come from. And then historically you have some people named the Arabu or the Apiru historically where the Egyptian them that aware them and they are mercenaries just like how Abraham are mercenaries. Them are robbers, them are plunderers, them are the Egyptians have despicable names to them because them represent despicable characters. So anyway, Abraham has spread out. So him buy up land, him buy up a burial site, okay, the Macpela. This a go for burial now. And him a train. So now them indicate say him can't Sarah now can't have no pitney. So Abraham bloodline have to carry on. So what them do now? Agar for surrogacy. So Abraham plant him seed because Sarah order Abraham to plant him seed in a Agar. And now Agar now end up bringing forth the child named Ishmael. And according to them, when want the story, Sarah look good, says Agar start a style Sarah and I go on like say she take over, so to speak. And Sarah get up in her feelings. So Sarah run to Abraham and declare to Abraham says Agar get bright. And Abraham tell her say fear she the boss fear, she must do deal with her as she see fit. And she beat her up, abuse her. And Agar run away. This is the storyline that I'm want to give you. But what me I try to show you now is that these people, when it comes to the black woman is essential to them to carry on them bloodline. So them cared zero for the black man. But the black woman, them will always utilize or put them seed in her to strengthen them up genetically. And then them program them mind. Cause Abraham now start with a young Ishmael and start programming because he might be the inheritor of the legacy for carry on. So he might program him with a program of conquest. Nonetheless, it come further when them come and share that story say eventually Sarah get pregnant and she have Isaac. Now there's a problem now. The problem is Abraham legacy inheritance. So Sarah now gonna make a half breed like Ishmael rule her son. So she declared to Abraham and them for Abraham run them way. But when them give them dismissively wine sack, water sack, and bread. And then here comes them God now. I tell her Agar, so don't worry, a great nation are gonna come out of him, which the Ishmael out of this offspring is declared say yeah, so the Arabs them claim them ancestry using biblical pronouncement. Them say them come from the bloodline of Ishmael. Now, after them, like I said, them use Agar for surrogacy. Sarah have youth. Them no longer need the black woman. Because she no serve no purpose again, so them run her away. So now, him have him pure breed. Because remember, Sarah him sister. And the two of them father are Terah. And we already indicates that Sarah right. So therefore, if Sarah right, we are to the point that Abraham right too. And the things them we him do solidify that in the eye and eye eyes of vision you use in the Bible. So yeah, because him established the separatist ideology. And that separatist ideology carry over in our present time. What we call end up we manifest again against I and I racism. But in about them time, the racism never exists. A more culture, your tribe, and your tribe evolve into if you're strong enough, or the generation strong enough, they become dominators at spaces, land spaces, and develop into what you call empires. Just like how you hear about the Egyptian Empire, you hear about the Assyrians, the Persians. These are groups of people, multi-ethnic groups, mixed, but the leadership of them is white. Because that's what indicate that the Bible them show me how them evolutionary a conquest and how them socially evolve in a black spaces and infiltrate and take them time and muscle up and take over as we are see with Abraham. And they might make rules and regulations for how them continue the process of the conquest. So now moving right along now. So them run with Agar, I mean I show you say them use separatism, which evolved today into racism, interbreeding, where up to today that process still a continue, but it's more amongst the elites. Them interbreed amongst themselves. That's why in the monarchies, the European monarchies, a matter of fact, these Nod-Thern people and them so-called modern monarchies where them interbreed amongst themselves and the elites with the money, same set of people, but when in the leadership now, or they maintain them bloodline now, the bloodline, because it will show you how blood is important. And that was identified in the Bible again with the story about Zipporah and Gershom, and she cut Gershom forcing and put it on the foot. And them identify about the blood, what it is about the blood. We're going to leave that for another day because it's important. This is why them talk about when them come and tell about the blood of Jesus and the blood, the blood, the blood. So these are importance with blood, a certain type of blood. Anyway, so him identify back to Abraham and it's slow or him set up the foundation and lay the foundation and base of operation, we call it, within Canaan. And now him have him son Isaac now. Start program him son Isaac. Go get Rebecca. And him declare again. Him tell him servant said, do not make Isaac marry no Canaanite woman. And him go back home and him get Rebecca. And Rebecca, you know the story now when Rebecca come in now to come with Isaac, fear parents them declare, say, may our seeds multiply it into thousands and thousands of people, maybe millions too. I remember quote the exact, but it in a Genesis there. Again, I hate. Me don't even know how that come, but it come back. I recognize it now, so them are gonna breed and the hatred against the Canaanites people. Them have to maintain that hatred to ensure so them destroy them. Complete honest. So you know to mingle with the Canaanites, none at all. And the Canaanites identify as black people according to them designation say Ham and them son named Canaan, which when them claims to them curse. But nonetheless, as you can see when you read the Genesis, you see say even while Abraham over here so in a Canaan do, you have there a different set of groups of them in Assyria, Because them identify Lebanon as the Syrian. So some of them are in a Syrian. And in the Middle East area they see but the different groups of them. I do the same thing with Abraham I do. Take them time I dominate. And historically, I don't tell you already, we identify them with the Elamites, the Hittites, the Horians, the Gutians, different time frame, but all of them are war amongst themselves. They dominate Mesopotamia. And then it come and it show, it eventually happen, because the place as Sumer is the ancient, which I and I identify Sumer as the ancient when black people are dominate. In our record to the Iraq and them places, the Near East as them gonna call it. It was black lands too. I then indicate in the Bible where them say Nimrod, him build up this. But historically, you find out say Asuma and eventually you have Sargon the Akkadian come from out of the north. Now Sargon story, let me give you a little bit because we are show you the slow process, biblical and historical. So now you have Sargon is more equivalent. The characteristics when them identify the evolution of Sargon, you can draw a correlation with him and Moses. Reed basket, discover by court official in a Moses case are the Egyptian princess. In a Sargon case, I one of them official. I don't remember the story exactly, but we're not going on it too. But I could go back to Abraham because I show you. So now, him take him time and build up and him show him strength. Because even when him go and want the cave and even I dig the well, them, you can see where we're in the biblical story. The Hittites, them and the people them in a Canaan, afraid of Abraham. Them afraid of him. Them tell him say him becomes a mighty prince in them land. And him is a powerful man. And them are beg him to deal with them fear and these things. So that's why I say him a muscle up in the place. And it carry over now when Isaac now end up carry on when him father start. Same brother and sisters came again against Abimelech again. And me declare again, I'm sure say when him do it, Abimelech ball out to Abraham. When I hold off on Isaac, like me I come back to Isaac. Right? When the brother and sister scam, Abimelech cry out and ask Abraham why him do that. Now, this I show us about the Mayatic principle. The Mayatic principle was these people, they will tell us that I have not committed adultery. I have not sinned against God. I have these declarations is an internalized declaration where these people live by this Mayatic principle and maintain order, truth, justice, order, balance. And this, what the Egyptian them and the Canaanite, these black people work off of high principles, high moral standings. And it shows you the immorality of Abraham and his son. And it shows you say when it comes to them woman, which is Sarah, them do anything to maintain and get what them want. So it shows you how Sarah go along and Abimelech give her wealth. Tell her about think 1,000 shekels of silver she get from that one here. Separate from what Abraham get. Again from the brother and sister scamming. I call it proto pimping and prostitution. So once again it shows you say this is a deviant behavior in a modern time where we're gonna put where the proto we're gonna give it to Abraham. Likewise, deadbeat dad. Where we give it to Abraham again when him and Sarah run with Ishmael and Agar. That's child abandonment. But anyway, that is not the point where I show you the slow or why them I'd curse Canaan. Because them curse Canaan for conquer. No, him get Isaac Isaac continue the same. Them get back Rebecca. Now Isaac impregnate Rebecca and she have two sons, Esau and Jacob. And them give it a look at idiot story them want. First it start out. Say Jacob rob Esau I'm birthright. And he must starve. No, this is a man where I live off of the land. And him is a hunter. Him always out in the field. A man like that can't starve. A Jacob would have more be the one for starve. Because Jacob is a mama's boy. Jacob is the one where them are programmed for continue. Because them recognize now say Esau not take the program. But them get a look at idiot story about porridge and him give him birthright. No, that's not it. He was too much of an integrationist. He might mix with the Canaanite and I'm too friendly with them. So I recognize that him are the first one to come out of Rebecca's womb. So he would inherit the birthright, the blessing. So Rebecca programmed Jacob because Isaac loved Esau, Rebecca loved Jacob. But Jacob is the one now we're more prone to take the program for continuing the conquest. Esau a mix up. And it's sure when they married the Hittites, they married the Hittite woman, them two of them, and him turn around and him also marry a Ishmaelite woman too, as the story goes along. So Rebecca prepare Jacob now for continue the progress of Abraham start and him father Isaac. Now the reign pass on to Jacob. And Jacob are the one now. The people them of the land call him Hebrew. Jacob are the one now. Where him now end up change the name. But before him change the name, as you watch the story, I said we call him changing my identity. Watch him changing my identity. In the story them give you, him trick him brother, take away him brother wealth and blessing with the father. Turn around, him run with guy him uncle. And when him run go over him uncle, because him run because him brother want to kill him. Because the brother recognize the deception when them pull up on the father, where him and him mother do. So the mother tell himself run when him run guy him uncle. And him see him cousin. See it again, interbreeding again, you know. Him see him cousin, Rachel. And him decide for work with him uncle for Rachel and in a marriage. And him uncle start, you trick him and you utilize him because him unblessed. So the uncle get rich out of him. And every time him want uncle give him somebody else. And eventually him end up get the older daughter, which is Rachel, Leah. But that all of that are just fluff. But the real is it show you how them might expand and them might build upon what Abraham said. And them might expand in a Canaan. Slowly but surely. So now it reach a point now where Jacob end up have enough pitney, about 12 sons, and him have a daughter named Dinah. And in the story, it come a point now where Dinah get violated by a brother, I think a Shishem, a prince. But you find the story about in Genesis 35 there about. And them decide to negotiate on the violation because the boy is a prince, him strong in the land. So them have say so in a particular geographic area where in a Abram, in a them place where them are stake out. Slowly but surely I take it over. So now here comes the violation of Dinah, and here comes our Simeon and Levi. Trick the people, the Avites. I think are the Avites. So yeah, the Avites. And them end up murder them. Murder the whole tribe, everything and plunder them. And Jacob, I asked them, say, yo, what you do? What you do? And them asked Jacob, say, so what you want to accept the violation? Our sister? We can't do that. And the story ceased there. So that I show you now them are expand and them are power up now so them can even wipe out a tribe, a Canaanite people, or a group, a Canaanite people. And right after that now you see where Jacob ball out to them and say, yo, you're gonna make them team up and we know. Because on the two basically man say you wanna deal with this thing at two brawling, on deal with it too on too savage. That's how they mash up the Havites, them mash them up, wipe them out. So now eyes are going to dip on them and Jacob fear that now. Because that are going to mash up. Because if the Canaanites them team up on them now, them are wipe them out. So here comes the story and them give the story now say him get a vision and him wrestle with one man. Some say angel, some say God, whatever the storyline. And him hold on upon them man and wrestle till him hip go out a giant and eventually the man bless him and tell him, say, yeah, you hear me? From now on, your name is Israel. So them shift because them keep up the equal against the Havites and murder them. So them shift in the land and change up the name now. So them not identify as Hebrews no more. Because everybody in the land slowly but surely I hear about the Hebrew them. Or if you're going to the Egyptian records, the Abaru people them. So them shift up again. So now them change up, name change, identity change, now take on a new identity. So now them name Israelites. And as the story going, then it move over now to Joseph. Joseph now, him father love him so much. And him give him a pretty coat and him brother them bad mind him and end up send him a slave to the Ishmaelites them and him end up in Egypt as a slave. What him do when him end up in Egypt now? Him gain favor and rise up because him is a seer, him can interpret dreams, so he becomes important. So him infiltrate now, come in, say the infiltration them are going. So now them are infiltrate the power base now. So him come in now and become second in command to the Pharaoh. Next to the fear, the only person can override Jacob now are the fear himself. And what him do? Him start use the Egyptian and bell against them. And him enslave them. But in the process, famine coming on and see them always come with famine, you know. And we always help them. It's always them coming famine or something. And we always help them. And I identify the same infiltration, same strategy them come. Same when them in a danger. Modernists with the Ethiopians them. Fermentus come in, 4th century. Him come in as a slave in some Ethiopian teachings, and some say him crashed on a ship, and him is a Syrian also. And him come in and him introduce Christianity. The teach that Christianity, because the Bible already declare about the Egyptian, the Ethiopian eunuch, and Philip. And Philip teach and him go back in Ethiopia. But teach Christianity. But historically it point out to Fermentus. Also, Islam come in the same way now. Them, the Quraysh tribe are murder of the early Muhammad and them followers them. And them run come to Ethiopia for sanctuary. I saw Ethiopia and I saw Christianity end up in Ethiopia. And them come with the same kind of principle. Slow process and eventually conquest up to today Ethiopia still end up of a fight with the Muslim them. Especially in the northern part of Ethiopia. But me not to digress. But just try to show you how these people always come in and we always give them strength. And them always turn against I and I. So make we move back to Jacob now. So Jacob him now, famine in the land, him brother them, according to the Bible story, them come in and them give them food, and them give them land in a Goshen. Now, after that happened now, like I say, me enslave the Egyptian them. It's in the Genesis story there. You just have to look on it and see the pattern. There's a pattern with these people. And the pattern don't change from them time to now. Because them always come in when them can't outright conquer you. Them come in as your friend. Or you help them and then them turn against you. As we are identified, Jacob the slave now, him a run things now. And when him do now, him start enslave the Egyptian and by them belly, end up take away everything from them through the famine. And at the same time now, him I take care, I give him people, them choice land, Goshen. Now, you can historically this apply to what we call the Hyksos, the first Asiatic invaders in Egypt. Them never coming in as conquerors, you know. Them they've evolved, the source of evolving within Canaan, within Egypt, with the Hyksos them, within Canaan, with the Israelite people, them same principle. Same set of people them. I don't care about the name of them want to go by. And they said set up with the Nod-Thern aggressive, recessive people from ancient time to present time. Now we identify them a collective that we call them white people or Caucasian. But they said people different timeline, the same thing them come. Aggression, domination, and conquest. Always a come off a boat. But let me take it slow walk here. Using the Bible and I show you how the Bible preserve the Bible and the blueprint of conquest. This is where them preserve them history, you know. But them trick you. Or trick I and I to believe in say them are special people in the word of God. And where them get for carry everywhere them going in the world of the Bible then. So you know pay attention to it because you can't see it. But this is why I and I search, and this is why I and I articulate Rastafari and I show the Bible and I show you where we go wrong. What the mistakes that we made in the past were cause us to be in the position where we're there today. And I know after knowledge yourself, and you have to know, and the only way you have to study your story and fit them story so you can know where we go wrong to fix the future. And this is why I and I depend on this space I articulate Rastafari. When I and I talk about the Hebrew Israelites and them, I don't really care about the Hebrew Israelites and whether the biblical one or the delusional ones, them, the black ones, them right now, we are taking on this false identity. I and I just show you the principle and I show you from biblical time, historically, how these people operate and how we continue to be generous and giving and all these people always use I and I goodness against I and I myotic principle, high moral standing against I and I with them savage and barbaric ways and always end up conquer. But we're going to show you resistance, just like how I and I are to the resistance. So we're going to show you the resistance within historical context and using the biblical story. But like me, I said, no, the Ixos now correlates with the biblical Hebrew people. Them. So the Ixos are the only set of people. Them. And this about in the 1500 BC in an Egyptian chronology, dynastic period. This evolved in a second intermediate period in an Egyptian chronology, where you talk about the biblical Hebrew, them drawing correlation, the historical Hyksos. But like me say, a different groups of them I run around and take them time I conquer Canaan and them I conquer at the same time. Them a war for Mesopotamia, Iraq, Iran, and all of these places using the Mitanese, the Orions, the Hittites, the Arcadians, and eventually Sumerians, because Sumer is the ancient black space where Nimrod and them built up. Biblically speaking, but historically older than even the flood. So when I tell you about the flood, the Sumerians them exist before the Noah flood. And even the Sumerians them have them own flood story too. With the Enuma Elish, we give a flood story correlating to the biblical, the Hebrew them story, the Israelites them flood story with Noah. It's an ancient flood. There's always flood argument in the ancient world, but I could take with time. Cause there's so much information where I and I want to articulate and show I and I, especially the youths them and the young lions them want uno me attack to, because uno are the future. And uno are the future of Rastafari. And have to know the foundation of Rastafari. And let me put it out there again. Rastafari is the spirit of resistance, birthed from that diabolical enterprise called the transatlantic slave trade that brought captives and turned captives into slaves. Those who refuse, them label them wild and tame. It's maroon, resistance. Marcus Garvey, resistance. Rastafari, resistance. This is I and I foundation, resistance. So now, carrying over again, may I show you how what we done identify Jacob. So now it move along now with Moses. Joseph don't show him wickedness by enslaving the Egyptian. Funny enough, a slave becomes an enslaver. Same thing again now. With Moses' time now, this are when the Egyptian them now. Historically, the Theban, out of Thebes, the Thebans waging war against the Ixos people them now. With it started Senkenir in the 17th dynasty. Senkenir, the family I know decide to war them. And this is how it play out with Moses in the Bible, what them call the Exodus, but it's a war. Historically, the war is when the Egyptians them are run where the Ixos them out of the place. Because the Ixos them call them shepherd kings or foreign rulers. The first set of conquerors in the delta in Egypt and the Hyksos them and them strengthen up and them start rule for about 100 and something years. So in the 15th dynasty, the Egyptians them get mad upon them and the people them, the Ethiopians them come in now, what them call the Nubians them and all of them come in and start decide to run with them now because they might get too much. They might get too strong and they might try push now for control the gold mine and all these things up in Nubia or Kush or the Sudan or Ethiopia. Broadly, Ethiopia. The Ethiopians them come in and them wage war with Senkeneri now and them son Camos, them two are dead on the battlefield and Amos now who were destroy the Hyksos them and run them out resistance, This is when the Asiatics them get strong now. Now them are dominate in the Middle East now. Them fully take control of that now. So now the Thebans, what them call the Egyptian, them out of Thebes, upper Egypt, come in now. So the Amos now come in now and smash them out. And them run going on the Sinai Peninsula, who escape. And this are the Moses story. Correlation when them escape in the Sinai Peninsula, when them call the Exodus. And in the evening of the Exodus, we could get back to Moses now. So him now, infiltration again, it starting now, or them get up in a power now through Joseph. Can them get familiar now with the governance of the land now. So, but them get too bright now, so the Egyptians decide to start war them. So here comes in the infiltration of Moses now. This is how them coming at the inner now. But them the so-called story that we're in on. Pay attention. The fear, there comes a fear who don't know Joseph. So him start pressure. The Egyptian, this is the story them want to give. Them start pressure the Egyptian them with brick and mud and straw and all this crap. But that is just the face care. The real story is that the Egyptians them start away war them historically the 17th dynasty all the way into the 15th dynasty, all the way through. Can go all the way from when them start the Egypts and them start war them all the way up to the 19th dynasty, and it's go back and forth because we always allow them to always come back in, whether through charitable means or whatever. But me no want me a speed, let me slow down and use them Bible and show you how them take them time and muscle up in our space and eventually dominate and conquer. And this is a warning for the Rastafari movement. When you don't want to take in these Vikings and I go on like say it's an all inclusive affair. Eventually, they might eventually take over Rastafari. Because I see it happening right now, we don't all inclusive Bob Marley, one love type of energy, When I utilize Bob Marley, to be all inclusive and one love, but me I sure historically how this has happened already. Everything we build or we create, them come in and them take it over. If them not outright dominate and just slaughter and take, them use technology and use brotherhood and friendship and take them time. And when them get strong and muscle up, them start impose them domination, them savage behavior against I and I. And it always a work. Me I gear from now at time. I'm a slow walk on and I show in them Bible. In them Bible, me I show no in strategic blueprint of conquest. This book here. We don't want to believe about the word of God. I feed them God, because if you notice how for them book work, them God always a sanction what them do. So back to Moses now. So them sleeping Moses now. In a day, let me mention about Sargon in the reed basket, and right where the princess appeared and she find him. Right away, him sister jump up and say she know the Hebrew maid servant we can breastfeed the young Moses, and the Egyptian princess taking Moses and bringing the family now. I mean, I show you how the infiltration this now within the power structure now, using Moses now. So Moses now start learn the ways. And then in the Bible, it declares him know all the ways of the Egyptian. He raised as a prince. But nonetheless, he might learn, but they might raise him as a Hebrew. They might raise him as a Hebrew. I'm going to show you how it manifests in the book now. And so I'm going to show you an infiltration. Them want to learn the innermost secret now of the Egyptian, them and Moses from baby. The Egyptian princess adapt him and turn him into one of them. And now him start learn because him smart. So in the Bible, what is the indicator? I'm sure you say, even though knowledge, education, or them educate, infiltrate and educate, but he maintain him Hebrew identity. Me show you now. There comes a time when him say a Egyptian a beat one of him people them and him get mad and kill the Egyptian in the Exodus. We in Exodus now. Him kill the Egyptian. And when him kill the Egyptian, next day again him say him people them argue amongst themselves and him say, yeah, what that? Why not fight against themselves and one of them ball out? Or who make a prince and lord over we? And him say, oh, what you want? You want to kill me like where you kill the Egyptian? And Moses recognized the crime. Remember him is a prince, And remember me I go back to the Mayatic principles. Where I discovered the land of Egypt. And it not partial to none. When Moses recognized that him run away and go up in a Midian. And I so now we meet the high priest named Jethro and get a higher school learning the secret knowledge, the esoteric knowledge of the Egyptian them, the priestly caste, because these are the people who impart the knowledge. These are the universities, the temples in Egypt. Anyway, for that matter in the ancient world, the priest them is the holder of the knowledge. Just like our present day. And the priest them, or the pastor them teach the people. Not no change. Things and time change, but the essence of governance and control is always through domination, through religion, priests. Because I and I as a people, we are spiritual people. And we always have our gods. Whether you want you polytheistically, where people interpret and know who as the ancient order, whether with nature, as the Egyptian, them when you go into the Egyptian literatures, you see how I and I deal with nature, just like how I and I as Rastafari nature bound people, natural order, God and nature, divine and nature. This is how I and this is why I and I declare the king as earth rightful ruler, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First, Jah Rastafari. Everything connect. Nothing is new under the sun. But me a slow walk and I show you now how with this brother and Moses, how him infiltrate and start learn the innermost secrets of the Egyptian them. You see how far them a come from? We not thousands of years on from Noah time. And them Noah time about maybe 33, 34, 3,000, in the 3,000s thereabout. And let's get 4,000 years ago. The flood. No, in a matter 2,000 years later, about 6,000 years since Noah, the Genesis of them. The Genesis story, I feed them story. I feed them story in the Asians when insert themselves in the black lands. And this I feed them story them agree in a Genesis, yeah. With them I feed them God. So anyway, back to Moses. So now them infiltrate within the power structure of Egypt, starting with Joseph. And now it carry over to Moses now. I get the secret knowledge now. So him go so and him run when now, Ghana Midian. Him learn the Egyptian them way, cause them say him learning all the way. And him go in a upper in a Midian now. Which a Midian I think in Arabia. But this a part of the Egyptian same way the Ethiopian them dominate Arabia. So him a learn the secret knowledge now from Jethro, Obab, or Royal, whichever name, cause three different names them get him in the Genesis, in the Exodus story. But him get knowledge. And this is how it come out now when them a tell the story now, so him come to liberate them with the burning bush and God tell him say he must go back and free people, let my people go and all these things. And they uno want run with that story there. And brick and straw and all of this. But within the story, it shows so when them a lift up, when them start war start, them a plunder. And I talk about so the Egyptian them give them. So it come now with Moses, like me show you, a warfare. So them get strong in the land in a Joseph time. But in a Joseph time, I will show the Asiatics them historically in Egypt as a Hyksos a rule. And the Egyptian them get mad and start dust them out. And Amos in the 18 dynasty who family beat them up and run them in the Sinai Peninsula. This is a story carried over biblically now with Moses and the Exodus. And then they carry over now when them start them go back to the promise where Noah identify Canaan for conquest. And Abraham come tell about Abraham. God promised it to Abraham. Now them gone back over now. In a Canaan now. And I saw now you left from Moses now. Because Moses now start administrate and I show them now governance. And I give them rules and regulations as a lawgiver. Where them learn. And in the 10 commandments, if you know nothing about the Mayatic principles, you are going to see the 10 commandments are 42 Mayatic principles. And the 10 commandments fit with more to spare. So this is when Moses learned, when him learned all the ways of the Egyptians, him consolidate it in a 10 to give them as governance. Now, let me show you now, them tell you about brick and straw. What indicators in them book now? When them a leave, the Bible tell us them plunder. When them cross over in a Canaan or the Sinai Peninsula, it comes a time, or them want you believe Moses gone up on the hills to get the 10 Commandments, and when him come back down, him see say them still behave like Egyptians. So now, knowledge now, peep knowledge now, this way I and I, it apply to I and I now. The Yahweh principle where Moses want push in upon them versus the Egyptian psychology. When Moses come back down and them recognize that the Egyptian psychology, enough of them still have the Egyptians, him wipe them out, slaughter them.